how to read a wine label, making sense of the stickers. Hello, it's me again, Katie, the wine fairy, and this is my Sip Sense online wine school. We're here to go shopping today to really take the mystery out of those wine labels and make some sense of the stickers. I don't know about you, but it can be so overwhelming arriving at the shops and trying to choose wine. Take a deep breath, everybody. I'm going to help you with this one. There are a few instant factors you need to consider. What's the occasion? What's your mood? What's the temperature? Is it a party? Are you just needing a drink? Is it something that you're going to grab and crack open? It's not even going to last 20 minutes. All of these things are certainly factors to consider. But let's go a little bit deeper. Now, I hope that you have a couple of ideas on what you like, what you enjoy. And by now, you've even probably got a go-to wine that you just recognize it immediately and you'll grab it off the shelf. Now, the shelves can be tricky places. I encourage you not to just look at eye level. Marketing, it's a thing, you know. Rather take a little bit of a look around. Look below, look up, reach for a bottle. There's nothing wrong in looking at something and being attracted to the beauty of the label and picking it up. Nothing wrong at all. You know, many of us actually shop by what something looks like and its price. And then we're just really grateful when what's inside is something we actually enjoy. So, be that as it may, what are we going to look at? Well, bling is a thing, and it really is. Often you'll see bottles that have pretty little stickers on them over and above their own gorgeous labels. Should you be blinged by that? Well, why not? You know, I've often said, and you'll hear it many times, is that you should drink what you enjoy. But certainly, if you go to the movies, you should watch what you enjoy. But with movies, we often have critics, and we kind of align ourselves to somebody else's opinion, and we can agree or not, but at least we can get a good guideline as to the style that we like. It's very similar with wine. And certainly these wine competitions are great as a guideline. But don't be fooled by the bling. But take note of them and decide what works for you. Simple as that. Okay, but what else? So, on a label, you're often going to have all sorts of fun things. Now, you'll see here, it's going to give you varietal. This one says Chardonnay. Some of them don't. Some of them just have this beautiful label with very little information at all. Just a vintage, the name of the farm. And this one's called Giorgio. I mean, gorgeous as he may be, you never know. The bottle's giving you a bit of an indication to dark and handsome and gorgeous, and here's hoping that's what you get inside. So sometimes the front label is going to give you information, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's going to give you all the information, and a bottle doesn't even have one on the back. So, what to do? I know, it's a minefield, but there are some things you need to look out for. The one, of course, where possible, is as much information as you can find on the front of the label. If you're not seeing anything there, hopefully it has a back label that's loaded with a lot more information. Classically, you're looking for the origin. Now, I'm based here in South Africa, and we have what's called the wine of origin. Many places will then use the grape variety listed on the label and tie that back to the area where the grape has grown. Now that's quite classic and used typically in the New World wine regions. But I had a question the other day from friends of mine that have moved to Paris, and they were so confused because what they're used to seeing in the supermarkets or even online suddenly isn't quite the same. Now, your European labels will often, it's dictated by regionality and not necessarily by the grape itself. So the grape isn't put on the labels. The idea being that you just know what grows in which area. Now, if you look at Bordeaux, Bordeaux is very much focused on what we refer to as the Bordeaux style grapes. That's classically Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. If we speak of Burgundy, and we're focusing on reds here, you'd automatically think Pinot Noir. But I say automatically, but if you don't know, you don't know. And that's where the old world European-styled wines get very tricky when reading the labels. You've got to look for other clues. Maybe the vintage, the younger it is, the lighter, the softer it would be. And of course, price point is going to play a role here when you're looking at big, bolder wines to be aged because of that concentration coming through from the oak. Therefore, the longer it's spent in barrel, the more time it's spent on the winery itself, often you'll have a slightly higher price point attached to that. So the more affordable it is, the more accessible, the lighter the wine will probably be. Now, what else are we going to look for? If we look at the back label, you'll often see it's got the alcohol content. Now, alcohol, of course, that's why we're buying it. But just be cautious. The alcohol is obviously another indicator of the style of the wine. The lower the alcohol, typically the lighter the wine will be, and perhaps from a cooler climate. The higher the alcohol gives you the indication that it's going to have that lovely fruit and rich tannin structure to balance the alcohol out. So if it's a slightly higher alcohol, expect riper fruits and a bigger, bolder style. Okay, what else would we look for? The vintage, I've mentioned that. Now vintage, that's the year that the grapes were harvested. And that then allows us, we often speak about, that was a great vintage, or that one was a little bit of a wet vintage, or perhaps it was too dry. But it's just a way for us to think back on the vintages past, and it gives us a great guideline as to the development and the structure of the wine once more. Now, nowadays, vintage isn't quite as prominent as it used to be because we managed to manipulate in the cellar with wonderful modern techniques to kind of get that consistency of character. But one still allows for a little bit of vintage variation to show that true beauty and identity of each wine. So, what else to look for? Screw cap versus cork. The never-ending debate. It's not a debate I'm going to have right now. However, often a great gauge under screw cap, you can crack it open and drink it, no problem. Cork is often an indication that whilst it will be beautiful to drink right now, perhaps it could benefit from a little aging, or again, it has a richer, kind of more evolved structure to the wine itself. We also have quality controls. Different countries have different control levels. These are things to look out for. This one, for example, has what we call the little bus ticket. This is a seal, and that guarantees the journey of the wine and that it is a certified product. So often when a country has legal legislations around the production of wines, you would need to look for things like that. What else? This one says drinking during pregnancy can be harmful to your unborn baby. Well, that certainly is true. And beware, if you're drinking, there are consequences. Another, alcohol is addictive. Well, that's certainly for sure. So often they'll find a warning label. Another one you get often is sulfites, contains sulfites. Now, sulfur, it's a big thing that people think of when it comes to wine. But let me tell you, if you eat sausages or any form of processed meat or even fruit juice, there will be more sulfur there than there will be in your wine. Unfortunately, sulfur gets a bad reputation when it comes to wine, and that is not the reason for your hangover. That's a discussion for another day. But of course it is by law put on the labels that it contains sulfites, because there are certainly a few people that do suffer with an allergy to this, and it's important that we take care of those folk too. What else will we find? Of course, you've got the volume, 750 millilitres as a standard bottle size, and then just beautiful examples of different bottles. So many different labels. Simple, elegant, This one, beautiful French label, classic styling with the chateau, gorgeous. And of course the back label too. Now, this is an international wine. I don't speak French, I don't speak Italian. Gosh, I speak English and wine. For me, wine is a language. But it's a universal language, quite similar to food. You know, if you know some of the wine terms, even reading this back label, which is 100% in French, it gives you some clues as to what's going on. Whoopsie. Often you'll find the grape varieties listed on the back of a bottle, if not on the front. So this one, it says it has Roussanne, Marsanne, a number of different grape varieties. So already I know it's a blend. And because I know those grapes, I will expect the weight and the character to be slightly richer. It also tells me that it has gone through a biological method of production. Now, all of this is in French, but you can just pick up on some of the words, and it really helps. It tells me that it's been oaked. It tells me that it may contain tartrates, which means those wine diamonds that you get on the corks, those are often a thing. Anyway, I've been rambling on far too long. Go to the shops, buy wine, just pick it up, read a little more and see what you get. And if these days, I can't help myself. Online shopping has become a breeze, right? Everybody's doing it. And I still encourage that you go to your local wine shop or supermarket and support them. But if you are going online, shopping for wine has become even easier because it's a wealth of knowledge out there. I mean, Google has become a verb, right? You can Google it. And a lot of the wineries' websites are well up to date, and they will give you the technical analysis of each of these wines. So not only do you have the benefit of just reading what's on the label, but it will tell you exactly the process of how the wine was made, more detail about the vintage, the vinification processes. So much information is out there and available to you if you just look for it. So, I've been rambling on, but happy shopping! Cheers!